Good morning. Good morning. Also, everybody's over here, so we're going to direct our conversation to this side of the room. Well, we are so happy to have you. My name is Terri Freeman. I am the Executive Director of the Reginald F. Lewis Museum of Maryland African American History and Culture, and we welcome you this morning for this reading festival that we are having, this reading fair. And the theme of the fair is reading as resistance. And I'm going to actually ask our guest what he thinks of that theme when we get into our questions. But we are honored that BGE is our sponsor for the day. We could not have done it without BGE. And none of us, frankly, would be comfortable in our homes without BGE either. So we're very happy they chose to support. We will have all sorts of panels of authors. There will be illustrators here today. There will be workshops. So we hope you all will have the opportunity to do a couple of things today. And we will also have book signings by our incredible authors. And so we are kicking this off both in the theater here, but we're also streaming. So to our guests that are on the internet, good morning to you, and we hope that you will enjoy this discussion. I have the pleasure to kick us off this morning with author Derrick Barnes. He has written many, many books, and his newest novel is called Victory, Stand, Raising My Fist for Justice, and it is about Tommie Smith, who won the gold medal in 1968 where were we in 1968? In Mexico City. And he and John Carlos. You may have seen the picture of the two of them standing on the awards blocks with a black-fisted arm raised at the 68 Olympics, which caused a huge stir. To say the least. But he has written an incredible graphic novel about that, and I'm sure he's going to touch on that. But he's also written so many other books for young children, young adults like you, and I actually think the books are interesting for adults as well. I spent all last evening reading most of the books that he has written, and they are fabulous. He is certainly well honored. And well-heeled. He has received a Newbery Honor, Caldecott Honor, Coretta Scott King Author Honor, Ezra Jack Keats New Writer Award, and the Kirkus Prize for Young Readers. And this latest novel is up for a National Book Award. So we are thrilled to have Derrick Barnes with us. And let's start this conversation. So join me in welcoming him to the stage this morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, so you have a book called I Am Every Good Thing.
Yes.
So tell me how you came to the title of I Am Every Good Thing.
First of all, I want to say good morning. I'm glad you all came out. It's been a while since I've been here, so I've been on the road all week promoting this book. Victory Stand comes out next Tuesday, so I like being on the road, but I also miss my family, so I can't wait to see them tonight. But with I Am Every Good Thing, it was my second picture book, and I came up with the title from we were on tour in 2018 for a picture book called Crime, and I saw an ad from the clothing company H&M. They had a little black boy. He was about 7 or 8. He had a green hoodie on, and on the hoodie it said, "The coolest monkey in the jungle." And so we have 4 sons. I've never referred to any of my boys as monkeys. So I don't know how this got through corporate at H&M to be able to call this little black boy a monkey. So I wrote a poem, just kind of listing all of the positive adjectives that I can think of when I think about my boys, and when your parents and grandparents think about you, everything from waking up on Saturday mornings during the summer and going swimming. That those French fries, that I ain't talking about the French fries that are in the holder, the ones that are in the bottom of the bag. You know, those the center of a cinnamon roll. I thought of all the positive things I can think of, because it doesn't matter where you live or where the child comes from. They all have somebody that lifts them up and have high expectations and goals and people that love them. So that's actually a line in the book. I always try to get a line from somewhere in the story and kind of highlight it and make it the title. I never come up with the titles first. I have a working title, but the title always comes from a line in the book, you know, for me.
So let's go back a little bit before we get to this book. Mm-hmm. I read that you went to Jackson State.
No.
And when did you decide to become a writer?
I don't know, I was around 10, I guess. I'm 47 now, so I've been writing for like 37 years. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, Midwest boy. My mother is from Clarksdale, Mississippi, and so I was raised in a single parent household. Me and my brother Anthony, he's like my hero. He's 7 years older than I am. And my mother worked all the time. She was a CNA, so she worked at nursing homes, and she was a school nurse. And then she was off like on Thursdays and on the weekend. But every Saturday morning, starting when I was 4, she would take me to the library. We had a wagon. She would put me in the wagon and pull me like 5 or 6 blocks to this library. Now, my mother barely graduated with a high school education, but she understood how important literacy was. And I fell in love with words and literature. And when I was 4 or 5, I started reading extremely early. I didn't start writing until I was 10. Became a huge hip hop fan. You know, my brother used to give me mixtapes from his friends that live in Philly, and fell in love with Eric B. and Rakim, EPMD, Public Enemy, LL, and that was my first introduction to literature, really. Because hip hop is just a form of poetry, really. My 5th grade teacher, Miss Shelby, she recognized that we love hip hop music, and she introduced us to all the amazing writers from the Harlem Renaissance. So, Nella Larson, County Cullen, Langston Hughes, and we had an assignment one day. She wanted us to write a short story, so I wrote my first short story when I was 10. And I was extremely shy. I'm still very introverted. So I never thought I would grow up to do this one day, go out and speak in front of audiences. But she allowed me to get up and read my story, and it was about these dogs traveling across the country looking for a magic bone or something. It was something crazy. But my peers loved it. They thought the action parts were exciting. They thought the funny parts were hilarious. And I discovered my superpower that day. I was able to rearrange the English language and kind of regurgitated my own voice. And I discovered my power that day. I was 10. I've been writing ever since. Everything from poems to short stories, love letters, songs, and now I do it for a living. So God is good.
That's great. I mean, I think the way you connected hip hop to the teacher's assignment, using the poetry songs of the Harlem Renaissance. And one of the things that we like to impress upon people that come into this museum, that when you look at history is always connected to the present. The present is always connected to history. So you can always find something that has happened in the past that is not that dissimilar from something that is happening currently. And I think also the idea that you look at hip hop as poetry, right? Yeah. And it's just a form of writing. Yeah. And it's led to all of this. I think that's fabulous.
Yeah, it's a continuum. I struggled for a long time. My first books came out in 2004. They were 2 early reader books, Stop, Drop, and Chill, and Low Down Bad Day Blues. And in 2006, 7. I signed a 4-book deal with Scholastic for a series called Ruby and the Booker Boys. So that was 6 books. And then signed a deal for my first young adult novel called The Making of Dr. True Love. That was 7 books. Middle grade book came out in 2010 entitled We Could Be Brothers. And so I'm thinking I'm about to be the next Walter D. Myers. They rolling. But man, after 2010, man, everything stopped. Everything slowed down, dried up for me. So between 2010 and 2016, I didn't have anything come out. And man, it was depressing, to be honest with you. You know, we have 4 boys, the Mighty Barnes brothers, and my wife was in medical school and residency, and so I spent a lot of time with my boys, which now that I look back in retrospect, it was a blessing. I was able to be available for them. Mm-hmm. But man, I worked so many jobs. It was legal, and you can name it, I did it. I drove trucks. I worked for this company called Iron Mountain in New Orleans. I worked offshore for an oil company, substitute teacher. I worked graveyard shift at an ER. I worked for LSU. And then I'm just trying to think of all these crazy jobs I had, man. I did landscaping for like 2 months, just putting trees in the ground and rubbed all the skin off of my hand, man. 'Cause I'm a writer. I'm not, I did so many jobs, man. But between 2010 and 2016, y'all, I wrote like 30 books. And I stopped writing. In between working all these jobs and raising these babies, I was writing books, staying up to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, writing books that nobody wanted. And we moved to Charlotte in 2014, and I was just about to give up. Because every time I went on a job interview, within like 5 minutes, I knew they weren't going to hire me. Because I didn't have a resume. The only thing I had done was I worked at Hallmark Cards. That was my first job right out of college. I was the first black man to write greeting cards for Hallmark Cards in 1999. Yes, thank you.
And are they in Missouri?
Yeah, Kansas City. So that was my first job. That's my only real job. But by the time, 2014, that seemed like ancient history. And I had all these little jobs, and so nobody would hire me. But man, I stayed up late working on books. And I remember 2015. This is the pivotal moment in my career that just got me right here. We have an office in our house now, which is full now because I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right, Mom. But it was empty. There was nothing in this office. And I used to go in there and sit on the floor and write out, ideas for new books. And my son Solo, which we just dropped off for college, he's a freshman, he's a football player at Fayetteville State. He just turned 18. Yeah. He was maybe 10 or 11, and he came to my office one day eating an apple, and he was chewing and looking down at me, seeing what I was doing. He's like, "Daddy, you know what you should do?" I said, "What, son?" "You should write the blackest book ever." He's like, because up until that point, I'm trying to appease these gatekeepers at these large houses, which are very talented young white women from liberal arts colleges. And here I am in my late 20s, early 30s, trying to appease them. And it just wasn't happening for me. So he was right. And so 2 weeks later, I wrote Crown and Over to the Fresh Cut. And that's the book that changed my life, man. It changed my life. I just wrote a poem about how black boys, it's not even about a haircut for everybody who's seen the book. It's just about how we see our sons, how we see our black sons and how they see themselves. And when they go out into the world, you just kind of hope that you put this armor on them and this crown on them that other people look at them that way and have value in them. And that book won about 8 awards, man. I had never won an award in my life. It won, like you said, Coretta Scott King honors, Caldecott, Newbery, which is the big one. That book is that award is given to the best written children's book, And so I won the Curtis Prize. That came with $50,000. So my wife was like, "Yeah, you done made it. You all right." I ain't had to. I'm serious. I mean, that puts a lot on you. For all y'all who were considering getting involved with artists, it's a rough life, man.
Well, did your son get a cut? Cause he gave you the idea, right?
Well, yeah, he got a cut. He in school. All right. Well, he has a full ride football scholarship, and I have my eldest boy is 21. He's at North Carolina A&T, so we're HBCU fans.
All right.
But yeah, shoot, I take care of them, man. You know, I always get the question, what's the proudest moment in your writing career? I was like, being able to take my wife to Jamaica, take my family to Hawaii, off of book money, man. You know, I started out, in this 2-bedroom house in 54th and College in Kansas City, Missouri, with this crazy imagination. And now I'm able to not only take care of my family, but hopefully, God willing, write books that will live far beyond I'm here and really inspire Black children and really lift them up and really shine a light on how beautiful and brilliant they are.
Well, I was going to ask you a question about illustration, but I'm not going to because we only have a few minutes and I want to be able to give the audience an opportunity to ask you some questions. But before we go to the audience, we would love to hear you read some of that book.
My last book to come, I think they may have some downstairs, was The Queen of Kindergarten. It's a companion book to obviously The King of Kindergarten. And it was on New York Times bestsellers list for like 3 weeks. This was on New York Times bestsellers list as well. I Am Every Good Thing, and I told y'all the backstory behind this. Wrote a poem about how H&M called a little black boy the coolest monkey in the jungle. So I wrote a book dedicated to my boys and every black boy on this planet and how beautiful and brilliant they are. Dedicate this book to the memory of Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, E.J. Bradford, Jordan Edwards, Michael Brown, Jordan Davis, and Julian Mallory. I am a non-stop ball of energy, powerful and full of light. I'm a go-getter, a difference maker, a leader. I am every good thing that makes the world go round, you know, like gravity or the glow of moonbeams over a field of brand new snow. I am good to the core like the center of a cinnamon roll. Yeah, that good. I am skateboard tricks, scraped knees and elbows, but you know what? I am right back on my feet again. I am one eye open, one eye closed, peeking through a microscope, gazing through a telescope, checking out the spaces around me and plotting out those far-off places I have yet to go, but will. I am a gentleman and a scholar. I am kind and polite like yes ma'am and yes sir, helping my grandmother to cross the street and saying bless you when a stranger has to sneeze. I'm a cool breeze, a perfect paper airplane that glides for blocks, for miles, forever. I am a roaring flame of creativity. I'm a lightning round of questions and a star-filled sky of solutions. I'm an explorer planting a flag on every square foot of this planet where I belong. I'm a sponge soaking up information, knowledge, and wisdom. I want it all, and I am all ears. I am Saturday mornings in the summertime. I am 2 bounces and a front flip off the diving board. I am hilarious. I am the life of the party. I'm that smile forming on your face right now. I'm the boom, bap, when the bass line thumps and the kick drum jumps. I'm the perfect beat, the perfect rhyme, keeping everything on point and always on time. But you already knew that. I'm a grand slam, base is fully loaded. I'm a nasty 2-handed dunk holding on to the rim just to remind you that I'm still the man. Believe that. I'm the undisputed champion. I'm a highlight reel of magnificence. I'm the celebration, the applause, and the standing ovation. I am victory. I'm a brother, a son, a nephew, a favorite cousin, a grandson. I am a friend. I'm real. I am tight hugs and a hand to hold, a shoulder to cry on if you have to. I hope you never have to. I am here. And although I'm something like a superhero every now and then, I am afraid. I'm not what they might call me, and I will not answer to any name that is not my own. I am what I say I am. I'm that sound in the forest when the mighty tree falls. I'm waves crashing gently on the shore. I'm a force of nature, a miracle, a blessing. I'm brave. I am hope. I am my ancestors' wildest dreams. I am worthy of success, of respect, of safety, of kindness, of happiness, and without a shadow of a doubt, I am worthy to be loved. I am worthy to be loved. Thank you.
I wish you all could see the illustration. The illustration is just beautiful in this book.
Shout out to my brother Gordon James. He's also the illustrator of Crown and Ode to the First Cut. And this is actually his son on the cover, Gabe. So yeah, we have like two more books we are contracted to do together. So
it really is. The page where he talks about I am my ancestors' wildest dreams has these beautiful illustrations from African royalty up through, I think, Obama, correct? Yeah, it's really beautiful. All right, I'm going to give the audience a chance to talk with you. Does anybody have any questions for, all right, young lady, can you stand up for me, please? And can somebody give her a mic? I think this one, we'll take this one. Good morning.
Did you ever get like any other inspiration for your book?
My main inspiration is just my family. Pretty much my sons. I get a lot of inspiration from them, but it's more like motivation. None of them are artists. Two of my sons play the trumpet, but they don't want to be artists for a living, and I'm happy about that because I don't want them living in the basement. Write their name on the orange juice bottle. It's just about work ethic for me. I am a living motivational speaker with these dudes, and they see me working hard and being the best husband I can be, and I really work hard to make them proud of me as much as I want them to make. They want to make me proud, but I want to make my wife proud, to be married to me. I want my sons to be proud, to call me dad. And I remember they were in middle school to high school. They would ever post anything about me on their social media, which most kids don't. But as they getting older, like my two eldest boys, they always post about me now, man. So I love that. I see that they recognize the journey. It's been a long road, so they are my primary sources of inspiration.
Another question? Young lady there? Stand up for me, please.
You said that you didn't sell anything for like 6 years. Why did you keep going?
That is a very good question. I don't know. I'm just like
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what I just did. Wait, okay, there. Turn it off. I don't think it's on. Okay, I'm sorry.
My wife took me to the airport on Sunday. I've been on this book since Sunday, and so the question was, why did I keep going over that 6-7 year span? And my wife took me to the airport on Sunday, and we were just, reminiscing, because we met in college, and this was before they had co-ed dorms and stuff, so we used to sneak into dorm rooms. But we were just thinking about how far we go back, and how I used to have these crazy dreams about being an author, and she also said, I knew you could never be a 9-to-5 kind of guy, man. I just never felt it. Every job I had, every job I went on, when I left, I just kept thinking about these books, and I know that God has brought me this far. Like, I had published 8 books, so I was like, I know this can't be the end. And I was born with this creativity and a purpose. We talk a lot about purpose at the house and what the use of our gifts, should be. And I know that I wouldn't be on this planet just to be an author. And you were not just put on this planet to be a surgeon or a lawyer or a teacher or whatever, but the gifts that we have, which I figured out during this period of time when I wasn't in the valley. So we use these gifts in order to touch people and change people's lives and, make people feel good about themselves. So once I started tapping into that, my whole subject matter started to change. Again, I stopped writing for the gatekeepers. I write for all children, but I write specifically to Black children. And once I made my mind up to start doing that and being unapologetically Black about what I do, and not being in spaces afraid to talk about how much I love Black children, I'm always going to lift them up, and how much I love Black women, and we've been taught to kind of subdue that and go in these white spaces and not. I'm coming in the Blackest person in the room. And I want you to know that, and it's all about love too. I love my people. So as soon as I tapped into that, everything started changing for me. But no, I didn't give up. That's not my nature. I'm an extremely competitive person. We got the news about the National Book Award, long list for this book. I celebrated. My next thought was, I got to be in the finals. I got to be in the final five. It's never enough for me, and I've always been that way. So it's that fire,
I saw one more hand over here. Yes. No, okay.
This
We'll
young brother
take both
too.
of them.
Yeah.
We'll take both of these questions.
I have 3 minutes.
Okay. Young lady, you go first, and then young man.
I saw you earlier. I saw you this week, bro. Yeah, I was at the Pratt. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, let's take his question too. And what's your question?
One of my most famous books. My most famous book is probably Crown. That's my favorite book anyway. I have the original painting of the cover on the wall right across from my desk, and it just inspires me to keep cranking these stories out for y'all, man. Well, Crown is my favorite. It's probably my most famous book. And what was the question again? The most important thing to me, which I hope is the most important thing to all Black artists, is super. That's my wife. The most important thing for a Black artist is you are immediately an activist. As soon as you put pen to paper, as soon as you put paint on that brush, you are an activist, and you have to say something. We're not just making art for art's sake. Like you have to be an activist. I'm gonna always uplift y'all and put Black people in the most positive of lights as I possibly can. So you need to figure out what you want to do, what you're trying to say, and really care about your body of work. Really care about your body of work. When all this is over with and I'm gone, I want people to be able to look at my books and go, man, he tried. The brother tried to say something. That's most important to me right now. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we have to end right now, but please join me in thanking Derrick Barnes for being with us this morning.